Welcome back, thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to dip our toes into the world of tapping. Okay, it's nothing new, but there's always something you can take from these videos. You never know, you might learn something that you didn't know before. I did. So we're going close and I'll go through the basic technique and then I'll give you some ideas. Oh, boing. I'll give you some ideas and enjoy the ride. See you in a minute. Here we are, up nice and close. I've got my trusty Ernie Ball Music Man Axis Super Sport for tapping purposes. So what we'll do first of all is just go through the basic technique. Now, I'm going to start off with using, as always, the A minor pentatonic. Okay, it's nice and easy. We've done it before. Okay, so we're going to use this top E string, the thin E string, to show off the original technique. So what we're going to do is we're going to play the notes of the pentatonic scale on this string in the 5th, 8th and 12th fret. Okay, so the basic technique is we're going to tap. I use my middle finger. Sorry, I use my middle finger. I know other people tuck the plectrum away and use their first finger. It's entirely up to you which finger you use. So the initial technique is we're going to put our index finger on the 5th fret of the high E. Our little finger, again, you can use your 3rd finger or your 4th finger, depending on how far you can stretch. And that's going to be above the 8th fret. And then we're going to tap on the 12th fret. Now it's not just a tap and a lift off like that. We do a little flick. Now I flick downwards like that. Other people kind of go upwards. I can't, for some reason, it doesn't suit me to do that, so I flick downwards. It's just a little like that. Okay, so the basic triplet technique, which is this kind of tapping you hear Eddie Van Halen doing on the original Eruption track, is tap, then you're going to flick or pull off, and the note then goes back to this 5th fret, then hammer on the 8th fret. Okay, so slowly that would be you can resolve it back to the A, or you can on the E, but we'll resolve it back to the A. Finishing it is entirely up to you. You can finish it with a lick, of course. So up to speed. Now we've looked at the basic technique, we can move that to other strings. So like I said, we're going to use the A minor pentatonic as a framework. Okay, and we're going to tap across the 12th fret here. So we can go from the high E up to the B, or should I say down to the B. Then we can go down to the G string, to the D string, A string, and then finally the low E. So you're using the same technique: tap, pull, hammer, tap, pull, hammer, tap, pull, hammer, tap, pull, hammer. Same again. Some of you keen-eyed people might notice that the B note here isn't in the minor pentatonic scale. It's in the natural minor scale and other minor scales in A. So, but we're borrowing it simply because it's easier to go down the 12th fret as opposed to slipping up to the 13th for that one string. But you can do that, of course you can. So give both examples a go. I'll show you a couple of other ideas. We can do, using the same strings and same notes, we can do this one where we tap the 12 with our right hand and then we'll go back to the 8th fret and pull off to the 5th fret, so it will sound like this. Okay? And again, we can do it on all the other strings. Here's one more technique that we can use, similar to the last one, but we're going to tap, pull, pull, but then we're going to hammer, hammer. So we'll go all the way down and all the way up. This is this isn't a triplet rhythm. This is kind of a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. And of course you can take it across all the strings as before. I won't do them all, but now the idea is when you're tapping, well, for me this is how I approach it, is you're trying to tap in here, literally tap in to the notes of the scale, of course, that belong to the song or progression that you're playing. One of the common things to do is tap arpeggios. So if we take an arpeggio, well, in fact, the first one we did was actually an A minor arpeggio. That's A, C, and E, which is a minor chord. Okay, the second one we did is actually E, G, and B, which is an E minor arpeggio. Okay, so as we go through different points on the guitar, we come out of the A minor pentatonic. If I wanted to play a G major chord, an arpeggio for G major consists of G, B, D. So we would play G, B, D. So there's the G note, there's the B on the 12th fret, and there's the D on the 15th fret on the B string. And what we do there, if we do the basic triplet technique, that's a G major arpeggio tapped. If I wanted to do G minor, I would simply flatten the B down to the B flat, okay, and that would give me a G minor arpeggio. If I wanted to do, let's do an E. So the notes of an E major arpeggio are E, D, E, G sharp. I had to think then. E, G sharp, and B. So if we take here E, G sharp, and B, we get. And if we wanted to do an E minor, you guessed it, we take the third down to the G from the G sharp, and we have E minor. So find your your triads from any chord, and you can find them on the guitar, match the arpeggio, and then tap your arpeggio accordingly. Give it a go. Let me know how you get on. Okay, moving slightly away from the whole tapping thing, a nice little technique that you probably see people using is the bend and tap. Okay, so you bend the note up and tap 4 frets above. What that basically does is give you the note that is underneath the bend. So if you're on a pentatonic scale, minor A, as I did before, you're bending this note up and you'll tap into this note, but here. So okay, just adds a little bit of, so that's quite a nice little idea, but you've got to do a full bend and 4 frets above. So if I was to do this one here, we want to reach this note here. That's the same as, okay, so the last one we go nice and high. I mean, those are nice anyway for ringing out. But if you just wanted to do a little tap, bend that up 4 frets higher. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video and you managed to get something from it. As always, if you enjoyed the content, give us a like. If you'd like to leave a comment, please do. And of course, most importantly, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So until next time, I'll keep doing what I'm doing. Bye.